there's a word called prepositions, right? Now a preposition, right, is it sits before a noun. Let me just write that down. Sits. You brothers could look this up too. Prepositions. A preposition sits before a noun to show nouns relationship to another word in a sentence. Okay. Alright, so it says a preposition sits before a noun to show noun's relationship to another word in a sentence. Now I'll give you an example of a preposition which we just have here. Ba and ha are prepositions. Why? Because they're placed at the front of a word. That's why every time I say the letter ba at the beginning of a word is in, and ha at the beginning of the word is the. Alright, then you have, the endings, which we'll get into that another time. So a preposition sits before a noun to show noun's relationship to another word in a sentence. Now, we're going to give you some examples, or we're going to actually give you these prepositions, so that way you'll know, when you see these letters at the beginning of a word, if they're not connected, because sometimes you might have a letter at the beginning of the word, but that might be connected to the whole word, and I'll give you an example of that. All right. So now let's go with some of these prepositions. The prepositions are a, the letter a. So whenever you see the letter a at the beginning of the word, if it's not part of the word, it's I or I am. Alright, and I'll give you an example of that. The word Ephraim, right? The word Ephraim in the Hebrew is spelled Aparim, right? Now the word Aparim means I am fruitful. Okay? So I am fruitful. Now the way you break down I am fruitful, or this word Aparim, there's two words here. You got the a. Oops, let me drop this down. You got the a and you got the paryum, right? Then you put it together as a paryum, I am fruitful. The a at the beginning of the word there is I or I am. Okay, and then the word, let me separate this, I or I am. Okay, and then you have the word, just bear with me 1 second, and then you have the word parya is fruit, right? Parya is fruit, and then the yum at the end once again makes it plural masculine. Okay, so I at the beginning of the word is I or I am. Parya is fruit, then the yum makes it plural masculine. So when you put it all together, paryum, I am fruitful. Okay, so that's the first preposition. The first preposition is I. So there's times when you'll see this letter I at the beginning of the word, it just means I or I am. Okay, if it's not part of the word. Excuse me. Now let's go to the next one. The next one is ba. The next one is ba. And the main way you brothers are gonna learn this is, like I said, you gotta study that Hebrew booklet, learn the words, and then when you look up these words in the Torah or the Tanakh, which is the Hebrew Bible, you'll be able to decipher some of the words, and after a while you'll be able to decipher more. And the best way to learn it is whenever you go to a chapter or whenever you go to a precept in the scriptures, just go back to the English, go back and forth, and there'll be some words that you'll recognize offhand. In other words, you just got to look them up, in the whether you go to the Ben Yehudi or whatever sources you use, or the Strong's Concordance to decipher these words out. All right. Now the preposition ba is at the beginning of a word is in. I'll give you an example. Bara'ashiath. Alright, now Bara'ashiath means in the beginning, but it literally means in the heading, or should I say just straight up in heading. Okay, so Bara'ashiath, in the beginning or in heading. The ba is in, right? The ba is in, Ra'ash is head. Okay, and the yath at the end of the word makes it like plural. Okay, so Bara'ashiath, ba is in, Ra'ash is head, and yath makes it plural. That's what you got here, Bara'ashiath, you know, which is in the beginning or in the heading or in heading. All right, that's a preposition ba. Now the next one we're going to get, I'm not going to give you examples for all of them, just a couple of them so you can get an idea. The next preposition is da, which means at the beginning of the word is do. All right. Next one is ha. Ha at the beginning of the word is the. Wa at the beginning of the word is and. Ya at the beginning of a word is he. Ka at the beginning of a word is as or like. La at the beginning of a word is to. Ma at the beginning of a word is of or from. Sha at the beginning of a word is which or pertaining. Pertaining to. Alright, and I'm gonna give you an example on that one. You know, sha is which or pertaining to. Now the word shemayim is a combination of two words if you split them up, sha and the mayim. Now the word shemayim means heavens. Alright, now the word heavens literally breaks down to sha, meaning that which is, or pertaining to. Then you got